Let's be honest. Hollywood isn't exactly known for long-lasting love stories. Between movie sets, tours, and constant headlines, most relationships fade as quickly as they begin. But every once in a while, a few couples prove that fame doesn't have to ruin the real thing. That's what famous celebrity couples, then and now, is all about. The rare love stories that actually last. From David and Victoria Beckham's unshakable partnership to George and Amal Clooney's quiet elegance, these couples remind us that love can survive the spotlight, the schedules, and even the scandals. They've faced pressure, rumors, illness, and time itself, and came out shining brighter together. Their stories aren't just about romance. They're about resilience, faith, and the quiet power of partnership. It's not about perfection, it's about partnership, the kind that grows stronger with time. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to meet the pairs who turned passion into permanence. Because in a world that moves fast, these love stories remind us what it means to stay. David and Victoria Beckham. They first met in 1997, a football star and a pop icon at the height of the Spice Girls' fame. David Beckham later said he knew she was the one the moment he saw her on TV. And when they finally met after a Manchester United match, the spark was instant. Their whirlwind romance captured global attention. They got engaged in 1998 and married the following year at a castle in Ireland, beginning what would become one of the most famous partnerships in entertainment. Together, they've raised 4 children: Brooklyn, Romeo, Cruz, and Harper, while balancing careers that span continents and industries. Their journey wasn't all glamour. Over the years, they've faced relentless media scrutiny, rumors, and the challenge of living under constant spotlight. Yet, through every headline, they've stayed united, supporting each other's dreams. David became a global ambassador for sports and fashion, while Victoria built a respected luxury brand with her husband's unwavering encouragement. Now, 26 years later, the Beckhams have evolved from Posh and Becks into a symbol of commitment and class. Their story proves that even under fame's brightest light, love can still feel beautifully ordinary, built on trust, humor, and growing together every day. George and Amal Clooney. George Clooney met Amal Alamuddin in 2013 at his home in Lake Como, Italy, when a mutual friend stopped by and introduced them. At the time, George was one of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, while Amal was already a world-renowned human rights lawyer with the United Nations. Their meeting was brief, but it sparked something real, a friendship that quickly turned into deep admiration. In interviews, George later recalled that their connection grew through long emails and conversations that lasted for months. By early 2014, he realized she was the one. During a quiet evening at home, surrounded by music and candlelight, he proposed with a 7-carat emerald-cut diamond ring he had designed himself. They married in Venice that September, in an intimate yet glamorous ceremony that drew the world's attention for all the right reasons: elegance, grace, and genuine love. In 2017, they welcomed twins, Ella and Alexander. Between her legal work defending human rights and his career as an actor, director, and philanthropist, they've built a partnership rooted in respect and shared purpose. George has said that Amal changed everything for me, and together they've become a global symbol of compassion and class. Today, over a decade later, the Clooneys continue to balance fame with integrity. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. Some Hollywood romances burn fast and fade, but Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson have been proving for decades that love can last, even under the brightest spotlight. They met in 1981 on the sitcom Bosom Buddies, where Rita guest starred, but sparks didn't truly fly until they worked together again on the 1985 comedy Volunteers. By then, Tom was separated from his first wife, and their friendship naturally grew into something deeper. They married in April 1988, beginning a partnership that has now lasted more than 3.5 decades. Rita has balanced acting, producing, and music, while Tom has become one of America's most beloved actors. Their love has been tested, most notably in 2020, when both contracted COVID-19 while in Australia. The couple publicly shared their recovery story, using their experience to spread awareness and hope during the early days of the pandemic. Tom often says that Rita's honesty and strength keep him grounded, while she credits his kindness and optimism as the heart of their marriage. Now, 37 years in, they remain Hollywood's gold standard for devotion. Two people who remind us that fame may fade, but love, when nurtured with laughter and grace, only grows stronger. Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. Their story began in the 1970s, long before reality TV made them household names. Sharon Arden was just 18 when she met Ozzy Osbourne, the wild frontman of Black Sabbath, through her father, who managed the band. Years later, after Ozzy was fired from the group, Sharon took over as his manager, a bold move that changed both of their lives. They married in 1982, and their relationship became as legendary as Ozzy's music. Together, they built a rock and roll empire, blending chaos, business, and family into something uniquely theirs. They raised 3 children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack, and even invited the world into their home through the groundbreaking MTV reality show The Osbournes, 2002 to 2005, which turned them into pop culture icons. Their love hasn't been easy. Ozzy battled addiction for decades, and the couple separated briefly in 2016 after revelations of infidelity. But through therapy and honesty, they reconciled, stronger and more transparent than before. Sharon later said forgiveness was difficult, but love ultimately won. Behind the public drama lies a powerful truth. They've always believed in each other. Now, after more than 40 years of marriage, Ozzy and Sharon remain a symbol of resilience, proof that even the most turbulent relationships can endure when loyalty outlasts the chaos. Michael J. Fox and Tracy Pollan. It's rare in Hollywood to see a love story that feels quietly unshakable. Yet for Michael J. Fox and Tracy Pollan, that's exactly what defines them. They didn't fall for each other under flashing lights or red carpets, but in between takes, laughter, and shared respect. They first met in 1985 on Family Ties, when Tracy played Ellen, the girlfriend of Michael's character, Alex P. Keaton. At the time, they were just colleagues, both committed elsewhere. But fate waited. 2 years later, when they reunited on the film Bright Lights, Big City, the connection was different, calmer, real. They started dating soon after and married in 1988 in a private ceremony in Vermont. When Michael was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1991 at only 29, the world expected the worst. Instead, Tracy stood firm. She became his foundation through the tremors, surgeries, and the unpredictable rhythm of the illness. Michael often says that her strength and humor have kept him balanced when everything else shook. Their marriage produced 4 children and a shared mission, the Michael J. Fox Foundation, now one of the world's leading forces in Parkinson's research. No grand drama, no public spectacle, just steady devotion. Decades later, they remain proof that the rarest thing in fame isn't success. It's finding someone who stays, no matter how the world moves around you. Denzel and Pauletta Washington. Long before Denzel Washington became one of Hollywood's most respected actors, he met the woman who would become the center of his world. Denzel and Pauletta Pearson first crossed paths in 1977 on the set of the TV movie Wilma. He was a young actor just finding his way. She was already making a name for herself in theater and music. After meeting again at a mutual friend's party, their connection deepened, and Denzel likes to joke that it took him several proposals before Pauletta finally said yes. They married on June 25, 1983, beginning a partnership that has now lasted more than 4 decades. Together, they raised 4 children, John David, Katia, and twins Olivia and Malcolm, all of whom have pursued creative paths of their own. Their life wasn't built on Hollywood glamour, but on shared values. "I would not be alive without Pauletta Washington," Denzel once said. "I wouldn't survive." A fun note: the couple renewed their vows in South Africa in 1995, with Archbishop Desmond Tutu officiating, a gesture as meaningful as it was personal. 42 years later, the Washingtons remain a portrait of love, grounded in faith, humility, and mutual respect, proving that quiet strength can outshine any spotlight. Jeff Bridges and Susan Geston. Some love stories start with a grand entrance. Theirs began with a black eye. In 1975, while filming Rancho Deluxe in Montana, Jeff Bridges spotted a waitress with a bruised face serving food on set. That woman was Susan Geston. He asked her out, but she turned him down, twice. But Jeff couldn't forget her, and soon enough, fate brought them back together at a local dance. This time she said yes. 3 years later, in 1977, they married, beginning one of the longest and most grounded marriages in Hollywood. They raised 3 daughters, Isabel, Jessica, and Haley. While Jeff's career soared with films like The Big Lebowski and Crazy Heart, through decades of red carpets and quiet Montana days, they've kept their family close and their bond even closer. Life hasn't been without challenges. In 2020, Jeff was diagnosed with lymphoma, and soon after, he and Susan both contracted COVID-19. Susan stayed by his side through months of treatment, and Jeff has since called her his absolute champion. Nearly 5 decades later, Jeff and Susan remain living proof that lasting love isn't about perfection. It's about patience, kindness, and showing up every single day. Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick. Their love story feels almost cinematic, yet it's entirely real. Kevin Bacon first met Kira Sedgwick in 1987 on the set of the PBS drama Lemon Sky. She was 21, he was 29. Something about his kindness and quiet confidence eventually won her heart. They married the following year, in September 1988, beginning a partnership that has now lasted more than 35 years. Together, they've raised 2 children, Travis, a musician, and Sosie, an actress, while balancing thriving careers in film and television. What's remarkable is how grounded they've remained, far from Hollywood's chaos. However, in 2008, the couple lost much of their savings in Bernie Madoff's infamous Ponzi scheme. Instead of letting it break them, they turned inward, leaning on family and humor. Over the years, they've often collaborated, from acting together on screen to performing music side by side in the Bacon Brothers band. Kira once said, "We're just really lucky, and it's not hard." Today, their love feels both old-fashioned and refreshingly modern, built on respect, laughter, and the rhythm of 2 people who never stopped dancing to the same beat. Jamie Lee Curtis and Christopher Guest. Jamie Lee Curtis has often joked that her love story began with a photograph. In 1984, while flipping through Rolling Stone magazine, she spotted a picture of filmmaker and actor Christopher Guest, best known for his mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap. She turned to a friend and said, half seriously, "I'm going to marry that man." A few months later, fate decided to play along. They met through mutual friends at a restaurant in Los Angeles. Within months, they began dating, and by December of that same year, they were married. It wasn't a whirlwind built on drama, but on connection, a shared sense of humor, creativity, and trust. They adopted 2 daughters, Annie and Ruby, and raised them largely away from Hollywood's chaos. Like any long marriage, theirs faced life's unpredictable turns, career highs and lows, family challenges, and the ongoing pressure of fame. But they always returned to humor as their anchor. Now, after more than 40 years together, they remain one of Hollywood's most quietly inspiring couples. 2 artists who found not just romance, but a true creative companionship that time, fame, and fortune have only strengthened. Pierce Brosnan and Keely Shea Smith. When Pierce Brosnan met Keely Shea Smith in 1994 at a party in Mexico, he had already endured deep loss. His first wife, Cassandra Harris, had passed away 3 years earlier from ovarian cancer, a tragedy that left him heartbroken. Meeting Keely, a journalist and TV correspondent, felt like light returning after a long shadow. Their connection was instant, rooted not in Hollywood glitz, but in sincerity. Keely admired Pierce's warmth beyond the James Bond image, and he admired her grounded spirit. After 7 years together, they married in 2001 at Ballintubber Abbey in Ireland, surrounded by family and close friends. Over the years, both have used their influence for good. Keely as an environmental advocate and filmmaker, and Pierce as a supporter of ocean conservation. When asked about their lasting bond, Pierce often says Keely brought him peace. "I found a great woman in Keely," he told People. More than 2 decades later, they remain a portrait of mature love, elegant, resilient, and proof that true connection shines far brighter than fame. Warren Beatty and Annette Bening. When Warren Beatty met Annette Bening in 1990, he was known as one of Hollywood's most charming bachelors, a man who had sworn he'd never settle down. But all that changed during a casting meeting for his film Bugsy. Beatty, who was producing and starring, met Benning, the actress auditioning for the role of Virginia Hill. By the time filming wrapped, he was no longer interested in bachelorhood. They married in 1992, and unlike the dramatic love stories Beatty once played on screen, their real-life romance became a lesson in grace and stability. Over 3 decades later, they're still together, raising 4 children: Stephen, Benjamin, Isabel, and Ella, mostly away from the spotlight. Their relationship has endured the full spectrum of fame, Oscar wins, shifting careers, and the constant scrutiny of Hollywood. Yet they've always kept their private life sacred. There are no scandals, no separations, no showy red carpet displays, just quiet loyalty. For 2 people once defined by glamour, Warren and Annette have shown that the most lasting kind of love in Hollywood is the one that grows when the cameras stop rolling. Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. Their story began in 1991, when Matthew directed a play for the Naked Angels Theater Company, the same troupe where Sarah's brothers performed. He called her one day, left a message on her answering machine, and that was the start of everything. They married on May 19, 1997, in a small Manhattan ceremony that was anything but typical. Sarah wore a black dress, not out of rebellion, but simply because she didn't want to draw attention. That quiet, unconventional choice has come to symbolize their relationship ever since, understated, private, and authentic. Together, they've raised 3 children, James Wilkie and twin daughters Marion and Tabitha, born via surrogate in 2009. Despite decades of fame and speculation, they've remained grounded in their shared love of theater and New York City. They've acted together on stage multiple times, most recently in Plaza Suite on Broadway, showing the same chemistry they've always had off stage. After nearly 30 years of marriage, Sarah once summed it up best: "We've been together so long because we just keep showing up." Their story is less about Hollywood sparkle and more about endurance. 2 actors who built a real life in a city that never sleeps. Julia Roberts and Daniel Moder. In an industry built on attention, Julia Roberts and Daniel Moder have mastered the art of keeping what matters most completely private. Their story began in 2000 on the set of The Mexican, where Julia starred opposite Brad Pitt and Daniel worked behind the camera as a cinematographer. Friendship came first, quiet, easy, and real, before love found its way in. They married on July 4, 2002, at Julia's ranch in Taos, New Mexico, in a small surprise ceremony with close friends. There were no red carpets, no magazine exclusives, just handwritten vows and a backyard filled with laughter. Over 2 decades later, that moment still defines them: simple, grounded, authentic. Their creative worlds sometimes overlap. Daniel has worked as cinematographer on several of Julia's projects, including The Normal Heart, and she often joins him at film festivals as his quietest fan. Now, more than 20 years later, they remain one of Hollywood's most stable couples, proof that the strongest love stories don't need headlines. They just need 2 people willing to protect something real in a world that never stops watching. Samuel L. Jackson and LaTanya Richardson. They met through Atlanta's small but vibrant theater scene, and what began as a creative friendship slowly turned into something much deeper. By the time they married in 1980, they already understood what commitment meant, not just romance, but teamwork. They built a life around their craft, raising their daughter, Zoe, while balancing auditions, small plays, and big dreams. The defining moment of their marriage came years later, when Samuel's career nearly derailed due to addiction. LaTanya didn't walk away, she staged an intervention. In his own words, "She gave me the chance to be the man I'm supposed to be." That turning point changed everything. A few years later came Pulp Fiction, and Samuel's rise to legendary status. Their marriage isn't built on Hollywood fantasy, but on faith, forgiveness, and fierce loyalty. A reminder that true love doesn't just survive storms. Sometimes it rebuilds the ship. Sting and Trudy Styler. When Sting met Trudy Styler in the early 1980s, life was complicated. He was the frontman of The Police, one of the biggest bands in the world, and she was an actress and producer living in the same neighborhood in London. Their relationship caused headlines at the time, yet they faced the scrutiny with grace and honesty. They married in 1992 at their country estate in Wiltshire, England, surrounded by family, friends, and a sense of peace they had fought hard to earn. Together, they've raised 4 children and found a rare rhythm, one that balances fame, creativity, and responsibility. Trudy became Sting's constant collaborator, co-producing films and leading environmental and humanitarian causes through their Rainforest Foundation. More than 4 decades since they first met, their bond has evolved beyond romance. It's a duet of 2 people growing in sync, using their voices to make the world gentler, one song and one act of kindness at a time. Viola Davis and Julius Tenen. Viola Davis once said she prayed for a husband who was kind, spiritual, and steady. 3 weeks later, Julius Tenen walked into her life. It was 2000, on the set of a TV show in Los Angeles. She was a talented but struggling actress, still finding her footing in Hollywood. He was a seasoned performer and former football player from Texas with a calm, grounded presence. They married in June 2003, and from the start, their relationship was built on faith and emotional honesty. When Viola won her first Oscar in 2017, she thanked Julius. "And to my husband and my daughter, my heart, you and Genesis, you teach me every day how to live, how to love. I'm so glad that you are the foundation of my life." But their story isn't just about awards. It's about how they've built a home that reflects who they are. They adopted their daughter Genesis in 2011 and founded Juvie Productions, a company dedicated to giving underrepresented voices a platform in film and television. Now, more than 20 years after that chance meeting, they stand as one of Hollywood's most authentic couples, proof that when love shows up at the right time, it can transform not just your heart, but your whole sense of purpose. Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance. Some love stories take their time, and theirs did just that. Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance first met in the 1980s while studying acting at Yale School of Drama. Years later, fate circled back. When they reconnected in Los Angeles, both more seasoned and sure of themselves, the timing finally felt right. They married in 1997 and welcomed twins, Bronwyn and Slater, through surrogacy in 2006. In an industry known for fleeting relationships, they've created a partnership that thrives on faith, respect, and shared ambition. Beyond marriage, they're collaborators. They co-wrote the book Friends, a Love Story, an honest look at how their union has endured through Hollywood chaos, long workdays, and parenting. After more than 25 years, they remain one of Hollywood's most admired couples, powerful on their own, unstoppable together. Michael Caine and Shakira Caine. For Sir Michael Caine, it wasn't a movie set that changed his life. It was a television commercial. One night in 1971, he saw a woman in a Maxwell House coffee ad and was instantly captivated. "I saw this girl on the screen," he later recalled, "and instantly fell in love with her." That woman was Shakira Baksh, a Guyanese-born model and former Miss Guyana. Their first date was over coffee, fittingly, and sparks were immediate. They married in 1973, beginning a partnership that has endured for more than 5 decades. While Michael's career flourished with roles in The Dark Knight, The Cider House Rules, and Alfie, Shakira built her own career as an actress and fashion designer, always choosing to stay a step outside the spotlight. The two have a daughter, Natasha. After 52 years of marriage, they remain one of Britain's most enduring couples. Proof that sometimes love doesn't just walk into your life, it flickers first across a television screen and never fades. Steve Carell and Nancy Walls. Every great love story has a beginning, but Steve Carell's started with silence, a lot of it. Back in the early 90s, he was teaching improv comedy at the Second City in Chicago. Nancy Walls was one of his students, and he couldn't quite figure her out. "I thought she didn't like me. She thought I was uninterested." It was the kind of mutual miscommunication that would later make The Office so funny and so relatable. They married in 1995 and spent the next 3 decades building a life that feels refreshingly ordinary amid Hollywood chaos. Instead of public drama, they've kept their love private, raising 2 children while working side by side. Nearly 30 years in, theirs isn't the story of red carpets or headlines. It's the story of 2 introverts who found comfort in each other's quiet and turned awkward beginnings into a lifetime of easy laughter. Tina Fey and Jeff Richmond. Some couples fall in love at first sight. Tina Fey and Jeff Richmond fell in love at first laugh. They met in the mid-1990s while both were performing with Chicago's famed Second City improv troupe. They married in 2001 and have since built not just a family, but an entire creative world together. Their collaboration feels effortless. She builds the jokes, he builds the rhythm behind them. Despite their success, they've kept fame at arm's length. They're raising 2 daughters in New York, far from Hollywood's constant spotlight, preferring PTA meetings and piano recitals to red carpets. After nearly a quarter-century of marriage, they still share a home filled with music and laughter. Proof that when humor meets harmony, love doesn't just survive the stage, it thrives on it. Paul Rudd and Julie Yeager. On his first day in the city, running late for an audition, he stopped by his publicist's office, and that's where he met Julie Yeager. She was working there as an assistant. He asked if she could watch his luggage while he ran out. She said yes. That simple kindness turned into a love story that's now lasted nearly 3 decades. They married in 2003 and have 2 children, Jack and Darby. Julie later transitioned from public relations to screenwriting and producing, even collaborating with Paul on several projects. While he became a global star through Ant-Man and Friends, she remained the quiet, creative force beside him, steady, funny, and grounded. Together, they've mastered what many in Hollywood can't: a simple, genuine partnership that grows stronger not because of success, but in spite of it. Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Their story sounds like the lyrics of a country song, because it practically is. Tim McGraw and Faith Hill met in 1994 during a Nashville radio event, both rising stars with undeniable chemistry. 2 years later, Faith joined Tim's Spontaneous Combustion tour, and the sparks quickly became something real. By the end of that tour, they were engaged, and in October 1996, they married in a quiet Louisiana ceremony that marked the start of one of country music's greatest love stories. Together, they built both a family and a legacy. They've raised 3 daughters, Gracie, Maggie, and Audrey, while recording multiple duets that became instant classics. It's Your Love, Let's Make Love, and I Need You. Like any long marriage, they've faced challenges: long tours, time apart, the weight of fame, but their bond never wavered. Tim credits her with helping him quit drinking and keeping him grounded through the chaos of celebrity life. Nearly 3 decades later, they're still performing together, their chemistry as strong as ever. Tim and Faith prove that when love is built on music, friendship, and mutual respect, it can stay perfectly in tune for a lifetime. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos met in 1995 while auditioning for the daytime soap All My Children. Kelly had already been cast as Haley Vaughn. Mark walked in to read for the role of her on-screen love interest, Mateo Santos. The chemistry was instant, both on set and off. Within a year, they eloped to Las Vegas, surprising even their closest friends. Nearly 3 decades later, that impulsive decision looks like destiny. Together, they've raised 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, while balancing 2 busy television careers. Mark has starred in shows like Riverdale and Only Murders in the Building, while Kelly became a beloved talk show host on Live. In 2023, the circle came full when Mark joined her as co-host, turning their natural banter into morning TV magic. From soap opera beginnings to real-life partnership, Kelly and Mark have proven that sometimes the best love stories aren't scripted. They're lived day after day with heart and humor. Mariska Hargitay and Peter Herman. It's not unusual for on-screen chemistry to lead to something off-screen, but few stories turn out as genuine as Mariska Hargitay and Peter Herman's. They met in 2001 on the set of Law and Order, SVU, where Peter guest starred as a defense attorney opposite Mariska's iconic detective Olivia Benson. Their first date was simple, a church service. They married in 2004 in Santa Barbara, California, and have since built one of the most admired families in Hollywood. Their life hasn't always been picture perfect. Fame, parenting, and filming schedules all test patience, but they've met every challenge with grace. Both are deeply involved in advocacy, from child welfare to Mariska's Joyful Heart Foundation for survivors of abuse. 2 decades after that first day on set, they're still a team. Proof that when love begins in authenticity, It only deepens with time, patience, and faith. Amy Adams and Darren Legallo. Amy Adams and Darren Legallo's story began not on a red carpet, but in an acting class in 2001. Both were young, ambitious, and just starting out. Their relationship grew slowly, without flash or headlines. After 14 years together, they married in 2015 in a small California ceremony with close friends and family. Today, they share a daughter, Aviana, and a home life centered around art, creativity, and calm. Darren, a painter and actor, has always been Amy's grounding force. While she's built one of Hollywood's most respected careers, from Enchanted to Arrival and American Hustle, he's been her biggest supporter, often attending premieres quietly by her side. Their love thrives on balance, her intensity, his patience, her fame, his quiet strength. After more than 20 years, they remain one of Hollywood's most understated couples, proving that real love doesn't need spotlights. It just needs two people who see and support the best in each other every day. Love stories like these remind us that even in a world of fame, lights, and pressure, some connections never fade. They simply evolve. From the Beckhams' shared empire to the quiet devotion of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, each couple in famous celebrity couples, then and now, proves that real love isn't about the spotlight. It's about showing up for each other when no one's watching. Their journeys, filled with laughter, loss, redemption, and faith, reveal that time only deepens true partnership. So as we look back on these timeless bonds, maybe we're not just watching Hollywood history, we're witnessing what commitment really means. If their stories moved you, show some love. Hit the like button, share this video, drop a comment about your favorite couple, and don't forget to turn on notifications. More stories of lasting love are on the way.